You are listening to Fantha Tracks.
Fast ship. Never heard of the William Paul?
Should I have?
It's the ship that made the Kessel run in less than 12 parsecs.
What a piece of junk!
Covering Star Wars vehicles in less than 12 parsecs, this is Start Your Engines.
Don't get technical with me.
Here are your hosts, Paul Naylor and Mark Newbold.
You're listening to Start Your Engines. I'm your host, Mark Newbold, co-host Mark Newbold, because I've got a co-host, and he's right here next to me. This is a good start. And it's Paul Naylor. Paul, how you doing, man?
No cuts. I'm good, mate. I'm good. How are you?
I'm very good. We're talking today about the vehicles of Solo, a Star Wars story. Specifically, one scene on Corellia early in the film where Han and Kira get into a speeder. They're being chased by another speeder. They almost get intercepted by another speeder.
Yep.
And we're going to talk about those speeders. But first things first, before we get into that. Solo came out in 2018.
Yeah.
Didn't do the business it should have done because it's a cracking film.
It is a brilliant film.
What are your first sort of memories of seeing that film?
Well, I remember the anticipation of it and the frustration of the lack of marketing. That was a big thing. I think that was generally the thoughts of fandom was, why aren't we hearing about this? And then, of course, you then start getting people thinking, oh, maybe it's no good, blah, 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 blah. It had a lot of weight to pull, that film. It had got a lot of work to do anyway. But for me, I always wanted to find out more about Solo. And we're at an age now, Mark, where we appreciate that these people aren't going to be around forever. We cannot just pigeonhole Han Solo as Harrison Ford.
True.
We can't pigeonhole Luke Skywalker as Mark Hamill, and certainly, bless her, we can't do anything about the Carrie Fisher situation. So if we want to keep these characters alive, we've got to accept other people in these roles.
Yeah.
Personally, I thought Alden did a cracking job, because what he didn't do was an impersonation.
Agreed.
So you've got to have somebody that brings something different to the game. That's where James Bond always succeeded, because they were brave enough to put somebody into that role that was nothing like the previous person. At the heart of it, the same character, the same bravado, but a very different approach. But Solo, I really looked forward to it. I enjoyed it immensely. It's just that around the time that it happened, I had some personal tragedy in the family. Therefore, I missed the whole theatrical release of Solo, other than seeing that midnight screening. So I'm so glad I went along to that, because otherwise I probably would have missed seeing Solo on the big screen.
And what a shame, because it's such a cinematic film. ILM absolutely smashed it.
Yeah.
Ron Howard comes, if I mean famously, Lord and Miller started off on it. It wasn't working. Kathleen Kennedy makes the big decision.
We can both remember being at Celebration when they were brought out on the stage to talk about directing Solo.
That's
as
right.
well. So they were brought out and they started talking about all the early ideas for it. And I think they brought Alden out as well. So there was excitement there.
All the elements that went into the film, Ron Howard comes in, one of the safest pairs of hands you can hope for in Hollywood.
Yeah.
Oscar winner.
Yeah.
So that was a brilliant move. Long association in history with Lucasfilm.
Yeah.
So it was, I think, one of the smartest decisions made. John Powell doing the music. I think that is one of the greatest Star Wars scores.
It's a great score. Yeah.
And it should have been. I mean, this is one of those trivia things that still bugs me. The reason it wasn't nominated for an Oscar or put forward for nomination at the Oscars, and it won. I think it won the World Cinema Music Award for the year.
Right, okay.
It was like the big winner was that somebody didn't file the paperwork, essentially.
You're joking.
And
Right,
I mean,
okay.
to me, I'm thinking that would have won. That would have won. It's a brilliant score.
It fits. It works. Yeah.
It totally does.
Yeah.
And so all the constituent bits, and like you say, we've waited a long time to learn these things about Solo. And maybe they bodged a bit too much in.
Perhaps a bit too much of that's what my son always says. There's too much in there.
Yeah.
The
Han meeting Chewie,
everything.
Exactly. There's a lot in there. The Lando stuff.
Yeah.
But nevertheless, you get to the end of the film, and that great optimistic ending.
Yeah.
Falcon leaps into the credits sort of thing, and you end that thinking, can't wait for the next one.
Yeah. I mean, it was clever in the fact that they made it enough of a self-contained thing that if they never did anything else, it wouldn't be too much of a problem.
True.
But also, there was enough in there to tantalise you to want more.
Yeah.
The whole Maul thing at the end was a big surprise for me.
Absolutely.
And potential of a spin-off with Kira or a spin-off with Lando. There was all sorts of opportunities.
Which might come one day,
yeah, you never know. For me, why it gets the stick it gets is beyond me.
Same. Lots of great vehicles in it. We've done episodes about vehicles from Solo before. We talked about Jordan Voss's vehicle in a previous episode.
Yeah.
But we're going to step back to Corellia at the start of the film. We'll start off with Solo Speeder. It's the M68 landspeeder.
Manufacturer.
It was built by Mobquet Swoops and Speeders. It's a landspeeder. 9,200 credits. That's quite expensive for a speeder, but when you see it, I mean, it looks such a distinct vehicle. It looks like a sedan, doesn't it?
It's got 3 points of origin in my mind. It's got that sedan feel. It's got that land speeder feel.
Yeah.
So harking back to A New Hope, but it also kind of harks back to American Graffiti.
Yes.
And his character Bob Falfa, and it sort of harks back to that as well. So it is a little bit of a nod to American Graffiti.
And it's funny when we were talking about Andor a minute ago before we started recording, and when you see Mon Mothma's speeder, which is beautiful, like
very sleek,
Art Deco,
almost
kind of vibe,
sort of style.
Totally.
Yeah.
And you think Luke's speeder, Han's speeder, as we now think of it, and then Mon Mothma's speeder. Han's speeder sort of sits somewhere between the two, doesn't it?
Yeah, I suppose it does. Yeah. I mean, Luke's speeder is very much, I suppose, well, it's a farm vehicle. It does its job. It's sort of like you've turned 17, you've just about scraped enough money together to have an XR2i.
Yes,
it's that kind of thing,
what
right?
A car.
Whereas the one that Solo decides to hotwire and take is probably more like a Sierra Cosworth. This is all for the 80s kids. Whereas Mon Mothma's, well, I suppose that's kind of like where we've gone with...
That's a Bentley, I mean.
Yeah, it is, yeah. It's like the pink Rolls Royce from Thunderbirds, isn't it?
That's a good shout.
It is, isn't it? It's the Thunderbirds.
with the 6 wheels and...
Yeah. Especially the one that was in the films rather than the TV show.
Yes.
It's got that sleek, butler-driven kind of vibe to it.
Good shout.
Hi, this is Andy Seacombe, otherwise known as Watto, and you're listening to Fantha Tracks.
Technical specifications.
It's 3.85 metres in length, 1.29 metres high, and it has a maximum speed of 225 kilometres an hour. So it goes fast. We see it's a chase sequence.
Yeah.
It's on Corellia, which was filmed down near Southampton. Actually, a lot of that stuff was filmed down at Fawley Power Station, which isn't there anymore. So there's lots of action that you see the vehicle moving. Solo, we know he's the kind of guy, he hotwires it.
Yeah.
That's the opening of the film with him hotwiring it. You know, he steals it. He's got a girl with him. He's got Kira with him. Yeah. It's a great action sequence.
Engine specs.
It has turbine engines, which you very much see on the vehicle.
Crew complement.
It's got a crew of one and one passenger, so it's a 2-car vehicle. It's such a kinetic scene. The movement on the vehicle. I mean, when they filmed it, they sort of put it on a bit of a jib and a gimbal and to move it around. Actually, a friend of ours, Vince Abbott, was instrumental in building the vehicle. And so you really get that sense of movement, the swing of it almost, you know, because it's a long block. It's as wide at the front as it is at the back sort of thing. It is a block. And when it swings around, you really get the feeling of the gravity of it as it moves, being chased by Moloch Speeder.
Well, there's also a physical vehicle that was actually driven as well. And it was driven by Ben Collins, who was the Stig from the Top Gear programs.
That's right, yeah.
And I met Ben on a business trip. So I was over in California working with a stuntman from Shropshire. He just literally wanted to go over there for some photos in the Hollywood Hills.
That's cool.
It was Justin Pearson's the stuntman. And we went over to the States. So there was myself and a mutual friend of ours, Carl Jones, that were working on the book. Justin and his friend Dave. And one of the nights, Justin says, a mate of mine's going to meet up with us later in a bar. So there we are in downtown LA. In wanders Ben Collins. He did have to explain to me who he was.
Of course.
You know,
we never saw his face on Top Gear.
Justin says, you don't know who this guy is, do you? Sorry, no. He says, this is the guy that was the Stig in Top Gear,
That's
the
so
original
cool.
Stig. I went, that's amazing. And then we started talking about different things. And I started talking about Star Wars. And he says, well, funnily enough, I've just come off filming on Star Wars.
Yeah.
I went, really? And that was him. He was working on Solo at the time and was basically explained to me about that opening scene. Now, whether they used it just as reference shots and then did it, like you say, with the gimbal model, that might be what it was. He definitely drove it around on set. He says there was some like handbrake turn kind of things. That would be like when it changes tact and goes down a different different track.
That sort of that fork in the road kind of thing.
Where he makes that dramatic shift which kind of puts off the speeder behind. But whether they were used as purely references so that they could work out how to the physics of it, so it made sense, or whether they were actually included, he didn't know or say. But it was just fascinating to talk to somebody that was working on a film that hadn't yet at that point come out, and knowing when I saw it that minor connection to that now. And I love the design of that vehicle. Now, Weirdly, I mean, you know, I collect bits.
Yeah.
I'm not as avid a collector as I used to be, but the one thing from Solo that I've got on my shelf is that speeder.
Yes.
With the hand figure that came in it, and I bought the little Kira figure just to sit next to him.
Thankfully, I mean, when Star Wars came out, one of the earliest releases was the Palatoy stroke Kenner landspeeder.
Yeah.
Which was
Very
slightly
minor
different.
differences. The
minor
bonnet,
differences,
that was it, really. Yeah.
And over the years, we've had like Hot Wheels and Matchbox versions, and we've had various iterations, the Kenner, the metal one, and there's been various land speeders, remote control. But in Star Wars, it's much more of a featured vehicle than the Solo speeder is in Solo.
Yeah.
I guess if you had to whittle it down, you'd say the main vehicle obviously is the Falcon, isn't it?
Yeah, yeah.
But there were toys made and models made of Solo speeder.
Yeah.
You just alluded to the Hasbro one
for the figures,
which was great, and the figures were so good.
They were, yeah.
They were really good. And they did a Hot Wheels one as well, when they did the whole range of the Solo vehicles.
Yes, yeah.
Even doing the Cantwell Cruiser.
Yeah.
You know, the original Star Destroyer that was in the film but got cut, and we finally see it in Andor. I do wish we'd seen more of that ship. But bearing in mind, it's no more Han Solo's ship than the yellow speeder was Anakin's ship in Attack of the Clones.
Yeah,
he nicks
it's a stolen vehicle. It's labelled as Han Solo's land speeder, but it's not, is it?
And he wrecks it at the end. When he wrecks it, he takes it into.
I forgot that.
I was going to say, he's going in the shipyards and he's like, I can do this, and he tries to tilt it.
But then he's got that, and again, when Star Wars does comedy right, it gets it right. It's wedged, and then it just sort of like
drops.
It drops a little bit. I forgot. I was trying to think, why didn't we see it again? That's why we didn't see it again.
That's why we didn't see it again. And the reason we didn't see it again is because it's being chased by the AA-4B truck speeder, steered and piloted by Moloch at the top, firing after him. Because we've had that great scene where Hannah's come back to Lady Proxima, the whole white worm sequence in the den, with him throwing the rock, the thermal detonators, which he's trying to fool us with, and breaks the glass. There's a whole bunch of stories around the filming of that is fascinating. But it's a great scene that Han is obviously, and we're guessing because this is set up quite a few years before the rest of the film.
Yeah.
So you're probably assuming he's probably late teens at this point.
Yes.
Is how they're playing it.
Yeah.
And Kira obviously roughly the same age.
Yeah.
He's her guy. They're in it together.
Yeah.
We work our way towards the starport when they're trying to get off planet with the coaxium.
Yeah.
And of course Kira gets captured and Han gets away. But the point is that Lady Proxima sends Moloch and the heavies and the Corellian hounds and everything out after him in the AA-4B truck speeder.
Manufacturer,
It was made by Trast Heavy Transports.
model, and class.
It's a land speeder, of course, and that costs 15,000 credits. Now, it's a significantly bigger, it's heavy set. It's a transit van, isn't it? It's that kind of vehicle compared to a car.
I think I'm right in saying this. It'd been modified to have the little dog pens on the side of it as well, hadn't it? So we see those strange dinosaur-y dog come out of it at the end.
Which is great when you saw the making of back in the day. And you saw that they were actually dogs, and they put rubber masks on them. I mean, how brilliant is it? How well trained are those dogs?
It's like the whole Yoda being a chimpanzee. A monkey, wasn't it? He
On
was gonna
roller
be a
skates.
monkey on roller skates originally, yeah.
I mean, it's a bit. We were talking about Close Encounters earlier, and they tested that. They were trying animals for the aliens, and in the end, they used kids, which worked out great.
Yeah.
But imagining chimp on roller skates. I mean, who wouldn't want to see that? You think back when if they could have done Yoda back in the day in CGI, how much less in a weird way we would have got because you'd have never had the ear jiggle.
Yeah.
There's little quirks of Yoda that work because he's a physical thing.
Yes, yeah. There's things that they've had to work into the digital model that were a necessity because of what the model did.
But that's part of the charm, isn't it?
Of course it is, yeah.
When you see Grogu in Mandarin Grogu, he's got the same little jiggle on the ears.
But that's why Yoda works digitally, because they've kept that sort of nuance in it.
But he's not a monkey on roller skates.
For everything in one location, daily news, reviews, interviews, podcasts, video and social media feeds, bookmark fanthatracks.com for Star Wars news 24/7, 365.
Technical specifications.
The AA-4B truck speeder, it's 4.7 metres in length, so 15 foot 5 inches, so it's a long vehicle.
Maximum atmospheric speed.
A maximum speed of 120 kilometres an hour, so it's 200 kilometres, give or take, the same as Solo speeder.
Yeah.
But they're used to piloting this vehicle, and Han's just leapt into a brand new car.
Yeah.
So that's why the chase is so thrilling, is that he's kind of a speeder's a speeder, but he's still getting the feel for it. So I think that speaks to his skill, the fact that he can stay one step ahead. Yeah. It's a bit like back in the day when you had the Formula One Grand Prix, and you'd have somebody in a Ferrari go around, or somebody in a Formula One car that didn't really know a Formula One car go around the track, and Nigel Mansell would go around the track in a Ford Escort and not actually be that far behind.
Engine specs.
It's got a TRA 950 Magna Drive engine.
Yeah.
So clearly a hefty engine to pull along a vehicle like that.
Crew complement.
One pilot, it's a transport, and it's affiliated to the White Worm. So, of course, that's the sort of the clan that Han and Kira are part of. That whole scene, there's some really brilliant shots in that chase sequence.
Yeah.
Credit to ILM and to the director and everybody else involved. And there's one particular shot where you see the speeder, you see Han Speeder come round, and you see Moloch Speeder right behind it, and they're both sort of sliding within the shot. And it's very similar to Force Awakens when you see the Jakku chase with the TIE fighters chasing the Falcon. You're sort of tracking back slowly, but you're almost fixed. You see the hill, and you see the Falcon come over the sand dune with the vehicles behind it, and it's almost like the camera's just holding it in the frame. And weirdly, there's another shot in Jurassic World that's very similar, where you're looking from the point of view of the bikes looking back at the Raptors coming towards you. It's almost like they're not moving, and all of a sudden you realise they're coming closer, and they just advance towards the camera. They're three very similar shots. Whatever that shot is called, as a technique a cinematographer would tell you, works so well, and it works brilliantly in this sequence.
I don't know why it's made me think of it. One of my favourite shots in any film, any time ever, is that Chief Brody shot in Jaws.
The hard zoom.
It sort of zooms out and zooms in at the same time. That, to me, was like, whoa, that's just a human moment.
Yes.
There's no special effects on it, but that had more power than any rubber shark.
That's so true. That's so true, because it as a visceral interpretation of the feeling he must have had in his gut. When that shark attacks and he sees it on the horizon, you go deaf, don't you? You suddenly get tunnel vision, and that showed that.
That almost gave you that him feeling sick to his stomach as to what was going on. It was like that.
But again, going back to Solo, when you see a shot like that, and the movement, the pace, you feel that. I mean, you see that vehicle's banging the back of Solo Speeder, isn't it? It's so big it could easily run it off the road. The pressure on him, and he knows if he gets caught by these guys, he's probably done. She's had it with him, and Proxima's like done with him. And Kira would be punished for running with him, so they both need to get out of there. It's a very powerful scene when you think about it.
It is, and weirdly, it almost felt like the beginning of an Indiana Jones film, because it was like a little self-contained story.
True.
You know, like I said, there is a time jump after that, but it feels like a little self-contained story at the beginning of what is then the rest of the film.
Amelia Clarke, being interviewed about other projects, was asked about more Star Wars, and she kind of said, I think that ship has sailed, sadly. And it's just a shame to hear her say that, because she's so good in this.
Really good.
The whole film is so
really
good. As we're talking this through, we're thinking about the story as much as we're thinking about these fantastic vehicles.
Oh, it's made me want to watch it again straight
Me too.
away. We've just come off the back of being at a really impressive event this weekend.
Yes.
The editor of Andor, having listened to him for the best part of an hour, has made me just want to rewatch the whole of Andor again.
Big time.
I mean, we've always probably appreciated it from a young age, but the older you get, the more you appreciate the people that put these things together as much as the people that are actually front and centre on the big screen. Straight after this, I'm going home, I'm watching Solo.
Well, before you do, let's talk about the third vehicle in this whole sequence. The CPH Patrol Speeder Bike, obviously an Imperial vessel.
Manufacturer.
It's manufactured by Aritech Repulsor Company, who make a lot of the speeder bikes for the Empire. Cost is a lot less, obviously, because it's mass manufactured, 5,200 credits.
Technical specifications.
4.12 metres in length, 1.37 metres high.
Maximum atmospheric speed.
This can go at 400 kilometres an hour. So that's interesting. Twice as fast as Han Speeder, twice as fast as Moloch Speeder.
Crew complement.
Piloted by, obviously, a very capable guy who doesn't yet know he's trying to match wits with Han Solo. And Han does something when he sort of does the little dodge and the thing flies into the water canisters, essentially, and he flips over and crashes.
Like the water butcher on a motorway in
exactly
in the
that.
States.
That's it, exactly that. And he lands and he's fine. He's clearly fine. Later in the film, after escaping the moor, you know, when they're doing the whole Kessel Run, and they go into the carbon bergs, and Solo's dodging them, and he flicks the TIE fighter into the one. You just see how quick-witted he is with these certain situations.
Weapons specs.
It's got Ford Fixed Blastech Industries AX-25 blaster cannon. So it's got the classic cannon, very much like the speeder bike cannon in Jedi. You sort of zoom in on the cannon, and a crew of one.
Vehicle usages.
It's a patrol speeder, and it's obviously Galactic Empire. So when that turns up, I wonder, and I'm curious to your thoughts, it sees Han first, then it sees Moloch, then it gives chase, and then pretty quickly it gets taken out. But I wonder, were they chasing Han? Were they chasing Moloch? Were they going to pull them both over? Who's more at risk?
I think they were just your typical sort of speed Nazis like we get in the UK. I don't think they were too bothered about who the people were. It's just they were going too fast. They were like the Poncherello of the Star Wars galaxy.
The chips of the
Californian Highway Patrol.
No, they're the Corellian Highway Patrol.
Like it.
Thank you. So it's a brilliant scene. I mean, the whole sequence is so great. It's right at the start of the film. So, like all classic Star Wars, it sets its stall very early. Here we've got action. It's the adrenaline, it's the pace and the speed, which is so perfect for anything to do with Han Solo, and it fits. And there's kind of it's a bit of romance in a weird way, but it's just the legend of Han Solo is he's always on the edge, isn't he?
Yeah.
He's always just that one step ahead until he isn't.
It was illustrating what an intuitive pilot he actually is.
Yeah.
The fact that he could jump into a vehicle he's never been in before and get it to do the things he got it to do. He was a hot rod driver. He was somebody that you could throw any situation at him and he would deal with it in the moment rather than overthink it. So you just intuitively get away.
Hey man, it's me, Kevin Smith, Star Wars fan, Fantha Tracks fan.
What I liked about that patrol vehicle, it was basically a rectangle.
It was
just a block. And what it harked back to me, was Rey's speed.
Yes.
Because that was very simplistic as well.
Very.
And the fact that you've got what isn't overthought, it's just a chunk. And I like that.
Yeah.
If you hadn't got that vehicle, you could build a very simplistic block shape, stick your figure on it. Well, there you are.
And also, because it's so different, that's a great point. Because it's so different, you think to your classic speederbike from Jedi, and Ralph McQuarrie and Joe Johnson, all the other guys delivered and laid out loads of options. And I think really in Star Wars lore, if you like, the whole concept of swoops and stuff came from those designs.
Yeah.
Because we had the speeders, but then when West End Games did their books, all the other stuff got utilised and given names and given histories that sort of feeds forward. And because it's this whole Star Wars design ecosystem, even the stuff that didn't make it on screen became part of the legend of Star Wars. Even if you don't say, well, that's canon, they're all out there. They're all vehicles that you could conceivably use.
Swoop bikes, were they first mentioned in Shadows of the Empire?
Shadows of the Empire, yeah. Big Gears and these swoop teams.
As soon as they're mentioned, and I don't know whether it had been historically mentioned before, but apparently Dengar had become injured in a swoop race, hadn't they? So we knew
Racing Solo.
So we knew about swoop bikes, but because the first time we'd seen a form of speeder bike was the Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Whenever you hear of a bike, and like this one that comes along in Solo, your brain automatically harks back to Return of the Jedi.
Yeah.
And so you imagine it having the same sort of capability, the same sort of visual swooping around.
And the sound of it.
Yeah. Everything about it. It's a bit like a TIE fighter. It doesn't matter how many iterations of a TIE fighter they bring out. In your head, it's always going to sound the same.
Yeah.
It's always going to sound like the start of that fantastic album by Ash. There are things that it doesn't matter how much they change it, it always stays the same.
And weirdly, you mentioned the TIE Fighter sound.
Yeah.
And we're both going to go back and watch Andor again because that Galaxy Palooza panel with Jan Miles has totally inspired us to do that. But there's that sequence where, in Season 1, when it roars down that valley.
Yes.
And they kind of just freeze and watch it go. And clearly this dude's moving so fast, he's not...
It's on some sort of patrol, isn't it?
A TIE Fighter has never sounded more terrifying than that. Just the echo in the valley.
Because you've got a quiet, peaceful valley and you've just got that one sound just breaking it.
All of a sudden.
Yeah.
So it's powerful.
Yeah.
And these vehicles are powerful. They sound amazing.
Yeah.
Obviously, Skywalker Sound knocked it out of the park. So, 3 fantastic vehicles, 3 ground-based vehicles, all speeders and swoops. Fascinating to talk about because it gives us a chance to talk about Solo again.
Yeah. Contributing to the start, which was a really good straight into the story start, which is what Han Solo always needed anyway. He didn't need a weak sort of start. It needed a boom, here's Han Solo. I would love to see Solo again on the big screen.
Totally. We need to make that happen. It's a highlight package in a film full of highlights.
Yeah. I think even the people that criticised it at the time realise now that film has got way more merit to it than in
way more. And don't you think generally Star Wars in general, we're in the year that we've had Mando and Grogu, which is, as many people are saying, it's great fun. It's not too taxing on the canon. It's its own thing. But that being said, I have no doubt that when we're on episode 60 of Start Your Engines, and we're talking about a vehicle that's probably not even been designed yet, and we refer to Mando and Grogu as, in this episode, we've referred to many, many things, our viewpoint on that film will be different because with Star Wars, you live with it. You know you're going to watch, when it's on Disney Plus, we'll watch it.
Something else will come along. By the time we get to episode 60, there might have been 2 Rot of the Hutt films.
True. Who knows?
And that then is influenced and retrofit
Your perspective
to the
changes.
Grogu and
Yes.
the Mando and Grogu film. And that's what I've always liked about Star Wars. One of the greatest examples of that is that fantastic bit in The Mandalorian where they're finishing off the N1
Yeah.
and they put in that great big bar, which is the same thing that braced the walls in the trash compactor. That's just genius.
Yeah.
That is, and that's the sort of callbacks that I appreciate.
Thanks for listening to Start Your Engines. If you want to be a part of the action and stay updated on all the latest Star Wars news, visit fanthatracks.com and be sure to comment, like and share on any of our social media feeds at Fanthatracks. You can reach out to us and send in your listeners' questions by emailing radio@fanthatracks.com. Subscribe, leave a review, preferably a 5-star one, on Amazon Music, Audible, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, Spotify, or your podcatcher or smart speaker of choice. And as always, thanks to James Semple for composing the Fanthatracks intro and our Start Your Engines opening music, Mark Daniel and Vanessa Marshall for our voiceovers, and of course the data miners at Wikipedia. Remember to tune in to Good Morning Tatooine. It's live Sunday evenings at 9 o'clock UK time, 4 PM Eastern and 1 PM Pacific on Facebook, YouTube and Twitch. And check out our Fanthatracks Radio Friday night rotation. It's every Friday night at 7 o'clock UK time for new episodes of The Phantom from Down Under, Planet Leia, Desert Planet Discs, Start Your Engines, Collecting Tracks, Cannon Fodder, and special episodes of Making Tracks, and every Tuesday at 7 o'clock UK time for your weekly episode of Making Tracks.
Coming up next on Fanthatracks Radio, it's Making Tracks.